Due to the graphic nature of its content, listener discretion is advised.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and free.
She's getting into it with those drums. Let me tell you what, we're in for it. On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Mike and Juslin sit down with Becky Watson of Music for Wellness. And Music for Wellness is the parent company, correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm the owner of the company, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
It's a company, yep.
Right, okay. Well, I was just curious because I'm pretty sure you were bouncing around a few different ideas for names, weren't you, when we were in EBV together?
My company was going, but I was bouncing around if I wanted to pursue another job in addition to my company. That was what I was going through during EBV last year. So now I'm just a full-fledged entrepreneur. No jobs out there. I'm doing it. I'm just full-fledged an entrepreneur.
Nice, very cool. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Yes, that's what we love to hear, especially people who have made that leap of faith and gone out there into the oblivion. So now we'll go through your entire your naval background because you're a captain in the U.S. Navy, were you not?
I am a retired captain. Yes, that is true.
That is awesome. So, but you were, let's see here, I just want to kind of go through a bit of your bio. You were raised on a farm in Kansas, right? And then wound up pursuing your degree, right? You've got a degree, a bachelor's in business economics from Bethany College, correct? And then also an MBA from Troy State.
Yeah. What happened? When I was in Kansas, I was a farm girl, 4 brothers, and just real quick, a musician my entire life. Went to college at Bethany on a music scholarship, but halfway through I realized I liked business and can make more money in business. So yes, that's my venture from music to business.
Nice. Okay. All right. So what led you into the Navy from that? Was it ROTC or?
I wanted out of Kansas.
Okay. I was going to say it's a little landlocked,
Back in the 80s. With 4 brothers, it was expected that I was going to move back to the farm and get some farmland and have children, get married, have children, and that was kind of the expectations of family farming, and that wasn't for me. And so I had this business degree, and one distinct episode while I was at college, my roommate, who was also a music and a business major, somehow they let the Navy recruiters on our campus. I don't know how they let Navy recruiters on a college campus, but she got to talking to a Navy recruiter about joining the Navy band. And she's like, Becky, we could join under the buddy program. We could be in the Navy band together.
Oh, God.
See the world. And I said, no, thank you. I will just keep going on to college, finish my business degree, and go for it. Well, she didn't go for it, and after I graduated from college, I knew I didn't want to play my music instruments professionally, but I was working 2 jobs in Wichita, Kansas. One was an office administration person, and on the weekends I worked at a restaurant, kind of like an Applebee's, but it was something like that. And on the weekends and on Friday afternoons, they had happy hour. And we were right next to the Air National Guard base. So I got to see all these Air National Guard pilots pop over for happy hour. And I was their waitress. So I started talking about joining the military. And before I know it, so that's not a good idea to me. And the biggest thing they told me was, this is back in the 80s, not many women were in the Navy. And not many women were on ships. And they said, Becky, if you have a college degree, tell them you want to be an officer. I'm like, I'm not a genius, I'm just a farm girl from Kansas who has a little bit of common sense. That'll get you a long ways in the Navy.
Right? So, there you go. Exactly. I was like an officer with common sense. My God.
Yes. And that's exactly, so I got into the Navy. I really, really, wanted out of Kansas, and secondly, I wanted to be stationed on a ship. And back in the 80s, they were they're opening up more billets on ships for supply corps officers, which is a business manager. So that was what really, really excited me about joining the Navy was A, I can get out of Kansas, and B, I can actually get on a ship. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I got into the Navy.
Well, it makes sense.
Yes.
You're not in Kansas anymore. Oh, I had to.
Exactly. Oh,
I had to. I had to. Did you ever click your red shoes together? When you're out there, you're stuck on a boat with all these guys. Oh, dear God.
Heard them all.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, exactly. You were looking at Toby going, oh, wait, no, it's not Toby, it's Toto. What am I saying?
Wizard of Oz, red slippers, tornadoes, yep. I've heard them all.
Oh, Lord.
That was me, though. That was the girl from Kansas with the dog on the farm. That tornadoes, that you just put the name Becky in there, and that would be me.
Right.
That was my life.
That's so fantastic. That's great. I'm glad that Dorothy wound up going out on float. That's cool. That's cool. So you spent 25 years in the Navy in total, correct?
Total. What happened, I did 7 years active. I did 2 ships, did an internship. After my second ship, a couple of things were going on. First of all, I met a really cool guy on the ship, and I decided that at that point, it was a very challenging tour for me, for one thing. And I was like, if this is time to jump, now's the time to jump out of the Navy.
Right.
And that was the first thing. Secondly, as I was considering, I was all 27, 28. It's like, okay, I did what I wanted to get done. I wanted out of Kansas. That worked. Got on a couple of ships. And the third thing was I was up for orders, my next assignment, and they were wanting me to go to postgraduate school for inventory management. That just didn't excite me.
Right.
So I decided to separate from active duty, but I stayed in the reserves.
You could be like a certified red belt in Lean Sigma now or something.
Yeah, that just didn't excite me.
Right.
And my goal was to get out of Kansas and get the GI Bill. And I really, after that 7th year, I realized how much I missed music. I was like, you know what? I want to finish my music degree. I got half done. Let me go hang out at Charleston Southern University. Let me just go hang out there on a campus for a couple afternoons and just see what excites me. And that's when I discovered music therapy. I didn't realize that was actually a degree. So I went to college, College of Charleston Southern University. I only went there for a semester because then my now boyfriend was getting stationed up here in Norfolk. And of course I followed him up here. And I stayed in reserves and got into a cargo handling battalion, which is expeditionary.
Yeah.
And went to college full-time at Old Dominion University to do a music degree. It wasn't music therapy, but I thought, well, Rod will transfer again. I'll find a place to finish music therapy. So I wanted to get my music stuff. So as I was drilling in the reserves, this for a couple of years, and not working, I was just going to school. The Reserve Center commanding officer kept asking me every time he saw me in the Reserve Center, where is my TAR package, which is a full-time support. He wanted me to come back on active duty. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I just got off 6 months ago, and I'm not gonna do this. So he worked on me for 2.5 years. And I decided to come back as a full-time support. And I thought I'd just do it for a couple of years later, and I ended up doing it for 19 more years.
Wow.
But yeah, and I've always chased music therapy through my Navy Reserve, my Navy assignments. And finally, we got stationed down in New Orleans. Right after Katrina, we got stationed down there. And Loyola University is down there, and they have a music therapy degree. So while I was on active duty, all I needed was like 8 courses, all the music therapy courses. And I was able to take 1 course a semester for 3 years and get all my courses done. I had still had to do my internship, but at least I got all the college stuff done. So if you don't know, so what is music therapy? For me, I had no idea what music, never heard of it before.
Yeah, what goes into that degree path?
Yeah,
is it a psychology, major?
It is music and psychology. Yes, it's a combination of music and psychology.
Okay.
So it's basically, very simply, it is using music to reach non-musical goals. So I'm not going to teach you how to play the piano where you're going to be a perfectionist or performer. I'm going to show you how to use piano to help make a distraction. Maybe a little more focus. It could be for recreation. But we're using music, and I like drumming because it's so easy and adaptable. We can take it anywhere. You use it to make it a distraction or for rhythm or in some cases to energize people. So it's basically manipulating music to reach goals that cannot be achieved other ways. Like, for example, a big thing for music therapy we use is for speech and communication for people who have a stroke.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense.
My company is really specialized towards Alzheimer's dementia, and you get somebody singing that may not remember their name. By golly, they can remember the songs of their generation. So that's what it is basically. So a music therapy degree is a 4-year degree. It's music psychology. In addition to the degree, you have to do an internship. And I did mine. I couldn't do it till I was off of active duty. So I did mine at Eastern State Hospital, which is a mental health hospital here in Williamsburg, Virginia. I did that last year, and then 6 months full time. And after that, you take a board certification exam, massive exam. After that, you get your credentials. So it's not just, we're going to go play music in a nursing home and everybody's going to sing and be happy.
Right. There's a lot that goes into this. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of people don't realize that it's actually a allied health profession. And my goal is with music therapy is because a lot of, being in the military, the biggest thing I think our profession as music therapists realize is that we don't give ourselves a lot of credit, and we don't, people assume that we're there for recreation. And I keep saying, no, this is a research-based program that actually changes lives. And I'm big on, credibility for the profession, getting with doctors and professionals and those kind of things. So that's kind of my other alternative, is to bring some credibility to our own profession. And I'm a speaker at our national conferences and stuff like that. So it's been I've only been doing it for a year full time. It's just been a wonderful journey. Where I was at last year when we did EBV together, I had just finished my internship 2 months before that, and I was kind of chasing music ministry jobs, church musician type jobs.
Right, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I was chasing, I wouldn't say chasing, it's just opportunities that were coming my way, but the passion wasn't there. But it's a stable income between my retirement pension and that. We could have all our expenses paid for and not have any worries. But I just couldn't every weekend, for Catholic churches, there's 3 masses a weekend. It's a huge time, takes your time. It's very big time consuming. And so that was what I was struggling with last year through EBV. And I finally had a couple mentors through the EBV program that I said, you know what, I'm struggling with this. My heart's saying, do music therapy. My head's saying, take the easy job, do music ministry. But after EBV, it's like, I'm going to do this all in, and I jumped all in, and it's a humongous leap of faith.
Yes.
Well, yes. I was going to say, don't be discouraged by naysayers, because this nation is accustomed to hating its job or hating its career. So that's where they're coming from when they're telling you, music is just a pastime and it's not legitimate. But it really is legitimate. There's a lot of freedom in an art form. There's a lot of expression that can be done. How does that apply towards veterans, can I ask?
Oh, it's very powerful with veterans. In fact, music therapy in the United States, our music therapy profession, actually started during the 1940s when the veterans are coming, when the soldiers are coming back from World War II with all these injuries, and actually, University in Kansas, they had a World War II. They had a hospital, veterans, the VA hospital there in Kansas, and the nurses started realizing that the soldiers that were returning from war with all these injuries had one thing to help with their pain was music. So that's where they started doing the research is in the 40s, and they started making it a profession. So it's actually a profession started in Kansas with the World War II population, with the veterans.
It started in Kansas?
It did. The World War II.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then, so that's how our profession began. So that's when I started doing the research and started applying it and applying it to all the Veterans Administration hospitals. And then throughout the years, with veterans, it is also a big one for traumatic brain injury and also PTSD. Up at Bethesda, up in DC area, they actually have a music therapy clinic up there, and they do it with some keyboards, some piano keyboards, and some electric music. So, and about out of 115 VA medical centers, there's only about 30 music therapists that are hired. So, even though we started our profession with the military, we've lost a lot of ground in the military when it comes to serving veterans. It's really kind of discouraging.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
biggest reason why is budget. It's the budget. We all are under scrutinized in budget. Just right, my local VA medical center here in Hampton, they do not have a music therapist. Every VA medical center is managed differently. I will say that. The one in Richmond's a little more advanced when it comes to open-minded for different type of therapies. And I've talked to them, reached out to them, but they're not interested. I could talk to this openly, but the VA medical centers, if they don't already have your services, it's hard to get in. They'll always ask you to come in and volunteer, of course.
Right, of course.
Volunteer. But we're making some strides. We'll get there.
Right. Well, it's
yeah.
like I would love to sync you guys up with, especially all of the retreats and all of these different
Yes.
people that we know, not just Clear Path, but also, Joe Trainer out at the Oasis, in Indiana. We've got a couple of our buddies down in Florida who are doing a hunting ranch, what have you. There's all sorts of different stuff that's going on. We talk to wonderful veterans who are making a dent in the universe every day, who could definitely see benefit in your programs meshed within
Healing
their
Farm
own.
might be interested in it.
Who's that?
Healing Farm.
Yeah, there you go. John Mashie. He might be another one.
Yeah, and my first paying client, I'll emphasize paying client, because I volunteered a lot of stuff for the first 3 or 4 months. I didn't get paid anything. I just did a lot of just getting out there and networking. You know how it is for demonstrations. And
Yeah.
my first client that actually paid me was as Horses Helping Heroes. It was an equine therapy program that the lady that runs this farm, she has horses, and she has these veterans anywhere from the age of about 35 to 85 that have some sort of brain injury, either through combat or mostly through car accidents and strokes. There weren't too many younger sailors or veterans, mostly older veterans, and they wanted to see how music could help them. And I worked there for about three different sessions. So they do 6 sessions a term. So I was there for 3 terms. And it was a tough crowd. First of all, most of the veterans, they were going through some issues. Most of them had some type of aneurysm or had some type of unfortunate accident where they had a stroke, and they had lost basically their identity. They still mentally, they were on the outside they looked fine, but on the inside they were just crushing up. And they were there for horses, and the horses helped them tremendously with their self-esteem and communication. And the director really wanted me to come out there to see if we could help with the music. And like I said, I was there for 3 terms. And one time I brought drums, and it triggered all kinds of negative reactions. And I had learned a lot from that. And then afterwards, they all, like 2 or 3 weeks later, they all apologized for the way they kind of acted with me. But it was, so you gotta be really careful with veterans. I will say with music, with drums and rhythm, ocean drums, you name it, anything can trigger any kind of negative reaction. So it's a tough, that group, especially traumatic brain injury and PTSD, get extremely cautious with any kind of music because it will bring up some negative emotions sometimes. So.
Yeah, one could imagine.
Yeah, but that's why I loved when we were at EBV, Joey. You know, his thing in Kansas City with his art.
Yes. Yeah, we just recently interviewed Joe.
Good.
Yes.
He's another passionate person and just love. You have to, when you're in the arts, you really got to be passionate because it's not an easy living. Well, entrepreneurship is not easy either, but when you're doing something as creative as the arts, it's a whole nother. To me, I think it's a whole nother level of having the passion, but be able to communicate it where it gives you some credibility. And you know, Joey did the same thing. You know, those art forms and what he posts on the websites are just so telling what people are going through or selling.
Right, no, you're exactly right. I gotta say, I gotta give you credit where credit is due here. I mean, you sticking to your passion throughout your entire Navy career, you know, chipping away the degree as you're bouncing duty station to duty station, getting your internship when you come out. I mean, my hat's off to you. That's amazing. You know, and now that you're tackling this and you're going out, like, what did you always have in mind? Like, hey, I'm going to get out and I'm going to start my own business? Or was it, I'm going to do the music therapy thing and then we'll see if it leads into that route? Did you always know you were going to be an entrepreneur?
You know, that's a great question because, you know, leaving as retiring as an 06, it's a 6-figure income. And being a female, I could have easily kept my 6-figure income and been stationed in D.C. and been a civil service contractor. I could easily, just because of the skills we have as a supply officer. But all through ever since I got exposed to music therapy back in 1995, I first got off of active duty, life happened. I would say the very first thing that happened is after having one class of music therapy, my mother got very sick. She had cancer earlier, and she was in remission. And back in I forgot what year it was. This is 2005 now, probably. So back in 2005, you know, I've been getting promotions in the Navy, and it's like, oh, I want to do music therapy, but I have to wait. So I kept getting promotions. So my mother, she still lived in Kansas at the time. So she'd been in remission for cancer, and back in 2005, I had gone home for a family reunion. I mean, I'd go home every 5 years. I mean, I was not that close to my family. Mm-hmm. So I went home for a family reunion like every 5 years. I went home, and my brothers and I could tell that Mom wasn't right. Something was going on. We could just tell by her facial, just tell us she wasn't Mom. So what happened was I came back to the Rhode Island where I was stationed, and my brothers had called me saying, Becky, you need to get back home. Mom's not doing well. She's sleeping all the time. So 2 days later, I'm back on the airplane flying back home. And as I was flying back home, I was like, you know what? Let me grab my guitar. I said, I haven't played my guitar in 5 years. I said, you know what? But let me just grab my guitar. My wonderful husband took care of the kids. We had 2 kids at the time. Well, we still have 2 kids, but I just had I just had a baby. And so Rod's like, Becky, just go home. Go spend some time with your mom. You know, I got the kids. Don't worry about them. And so, you know what? So my husband's like, let me grab my guitar. Because, you know, I had no friends at home anymore. They all moved on like I did. So I get home. And, of course, after you fly to Wichita, I still got a 3-hour drive. So my brother picks me up from the airport. And all the way from the airport to Dodge City, they moved to Dodge City, he's like bracing me. Okay, Becky, Mom's going to be sleeping. She's going to be, you know, she's just not herself. Don't be surprised. So he's like making sure I was ready for this. Okay?
Right, of course.
So, okay, we get home. No kidding. Drive up in the driveway. My mom gets up. She walks up the door. She hands me a cup of coffee. She goes, it's about time I get there. Now the party can start. My brother's like, what's wrong? Mom's fine. What do you mean?
Right.
And they're like, give her about an hour. Yeah, in about 15 minutes, she took a nosedive, and she said, Becky, I was in euphoria. I just couldn't wait till you get back. She goes, I can now die. I mean, she tells me this.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we're like freaking out. We're like, what? So we found out the next day, yes, her cancer had come back, and we were all like really freaking out because, you know, Mom's like 60.
Right.
And we were like so stressed, and we're like, all 4 of my brothers and I were all there just like, she thought she's going to have a heart attack right there with all of us. It was just awful. So after a while, I was like, you know what, Mom, let me find my guitar. Let me just get that silly thing out. Let me tune it up, and let's just sing a song. And I tell you what, the minute I opened that guitar and started tuning the thing, it just like changed everything. Like this, I sat next to her, and the vibrations from the strings, and just singing with her, it just calmed all of us. And it's like, wow, this works. I mean, it helped me more than helped Mom. Mom was already passed out. She'd already fallen asleep. And
Right.
we're like, whoa. You know, it was just like, I still get chills to this day. And she died the next day. I mean,
My
but
goodness.
it was amazing. And it's like, and the last words my mother said to me, I'll never forget this. She said to me, she goes, Becky, she goes, this Navy thing, she kept saying the Navy thing. She goes, this Navy thing, she goes, Becky, do what you need to do with this Navy thing. Because, but you need to do your music. That's what you're on this earth to help people with music. I mean,
Wow.
that's what you need to be doing. But just the way she said that, I mean, the eyes, I mean, she's like, the Navy thing, do what you need to do, but you
Right.
need to do music. It was like, oh, okay, no pressure.
Oh, exactly.
But it's amazing, and that's just one of tons of examples. That's like, I'll never forget that when she said that. It just one thing after another. You know, not every day. I mean, it just because it was so hard to not be a contractor. It was so hard to turn away all this money. I mean, all my colleagues are like, Becky, you know, you gonna work for Northrop Grumman or you gonna work for SAIC? It's like, I'm not working for anybody.
Right.
You know,
Working for me.
yeah, I'm gonna work for myself. So, but I'll never forget that example. That just, and then when I was stationed up in D.C., I got another promotion to captain, and my Loyola was like my college. They had to hold my internship slot for 3 years, and they were very accommodating because they didn't
Yeah,
have to,
I would say.
they did not have to do that. I was like, you know, you have like 2 years to finish your degree after your courses were done. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I need you to hold my slot for 4 years because I still got, you know, I just got a promotion. And they were so generous, and they were just so like, yes, well, whatever, you know, do what you need to do. So yeah, that was so that little life examples. That's just one of many. But every time I doubted music therapy, I always had some sign that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Just like EBV, you know, I was chasing music ministry, And I had a conversation with one of the instructors. And he goes, Becky, he goes, what do you want to do? You said, you don't have to save the world of cancer. Just one person. If that brings you joy, that brings you, it's a lifestyle business. You don't have to make 6 figures. It's a lifestyle business. Do what you're on earth to do. I mean, that's probably the biggest takeaway from EBV is like, oh, you're so right.
Yes. No, that's great. I love hearing those stories, especially out of EBV.
Because I was struggling. Because I felt like I was turning away God. When, music ministry, that's another, that's a calling too. And it's like, man, God, do you want me to serve you or do you want me to serve others through? And finally I just like, no, I'm serving others. I'm still serving God by serving others.
Right. No, I can definitely appreciate that. I'm pretty sure it was just another test on the way to what you wanted to do. Yeah.
It is. But, so yeah, that's where I'm at today. So yeah, it's funny now. It's been a whole year now. And, because right now, as you are with your business, we constantly pivot and we constantly streamline. And I'm finding that I just love working with older adults with dementia. And most of my clients that I see in these nursing homes and memory care facilities, majority of the men are veterans because here in this part of Virginia is a huge Navy base. The biggest Navy base in the world is here. So most of the men in these programs are all veterans, and I love it because we have instant companionship. We have instant camaraderie. We have instant respect. And I love it when they wear their veterans, hats and their jackets, or their pens, and just an immediate respect. And that's one thing I love about this population is, and then if you start singing like Anchors Away or something they know through their military history, they'll sing it. It's just so rewarding.
Nice. No, that's fantastic. All right, so I gotta ask one of our famous questions here. All right, so as you're going along, you're doing this entrepreneurship pathway now. You've been doing it for a little over a year now. What has been the biggest, oh shit, giant moment where you're just like, oh, I have no idea what to do. Click, and then you've got to just kind of remember the training.
Oh gosh, I would say cash flow is king. You've got to be able to find something that people are going to pay you for. I have a little bit of flexibility because of a pension, but you got to be able to somehow, it's not about the money, but if you're not generating revenue, you cannot survive. I mean, that's not the focus, but I would say that's probably the biggest thing that limits people from surviving is finding a way to be able to monetize or be able to get money in. I mean, it took me, I would say, 6 months to really get my first paying client. And I was on my internship as well. And, credit card balances kept adding up. And that's why I said, okay, what can I do to at least get some money coming in to help pay off these credit cards? And that's when you got to be creative. And it might be a part-time job. And that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, well, if I get a part-time job, at least I can get some of this stuff paid off. But it didn't work out that way, which is a good thing. But I always tell people, if you're going to do a part-time job, just have an exit strategy. Have a way to be able to wean yourself off of that. But, we are in business to generate revenue. And that would be the biggest thing I would tell folks is like, okay, you gotta have that. And I heard a podcast not too long ago from another kind of a very generous arts type person, creative arts kind of person, who gives generously with her time. And what she said, which just really resonates with me, is like, yes, you serve, but you also deserve. deserve means, yes, you serve and you serve your people, but also you deserve to get paid too. So I always tell some music therapists, yes, we do serve, but you cannot sustain a business if you're not having something come in. And if you need to have a part-time job to get money coming in, that'd be the one thing I would say is cash. You got to have money coming in.
So it's the strategy, the processes, it's the planning mentality, so to speak, that the military offers that allowed you to set that up. As far as the cash flow is concerned, that's what allows you to kind of not just get in the mindset, but allows you to be able to actually maintain a positive cash flow.
Correct.
No.
Yes, you got to know your numbers. And like I said, we had credit cards piling up. Nothing extreme, but and that will happen. It's just as long as you have a strategy to help. Because I would say one thing in the military, we do have budgets and we do have a pension, or we do have our paycheck for those who don't have pensions. One thing with a business, it's not automatically the 1st and the 15th to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the biggest scary moment for me, is like that first 15th of the month came around and I didn't get that second paycheck. So that would be, that's one thing for those who, a lot of military is we have all our benefits are paid for through as part of being in the military, we get a lot of benefits. But when we take that, when we're off of active duty, we got to be able to sustain ourselves. So that's why I tell folks, that's not the priority, but you definitely got to have a strategy to bring some money in.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, this is awesome. I'm so glad that we're sitting here with somebody who has put in so much time and effort, and and put in the diligence, especially within your integrity, putting your integrity in check, which is fantastic, and doing the right thing as far as getting everything going. Here you are. I mean, I view this, maybe I'm wrong or it's a bit presumptuous, this is your reward. You're retired, you're out of the Navy, you're doing this, you got a lifestyle business, you're kicking ass and taking names. This is awesome. What I'm getting at is I want to hear these drums.
Oh, you want to hear the drums?
What do we
All right.
What do we got here?
Here we go.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can feel that. That's therapeutic.
Yes.
Do that ocean drum again. That's fantastic.
Drum, right? Sea service here.
Just like being on the beach.
Listen to that, folks. Sea stories. There it is. Enjoy that on your commute to work. Cool. Just hit it on repeat. You know what I mean? Just kind of you're sloshing around. It reminds me of that commute from Oceanside to Christianitos.
There you go.
Ooh, that Camp Pendleton air. I can smell the dill now. Is that what it was? I think it was dill.
Or
I don't know. It was all over. You had that distinct March Air Force-y smell. Anyhow, I don't know. That's where my brain goes when I hear the ocean. Let's hear it one more time.
Here's
Do it.
the ocean. Okay.
Oh,
Breathe
yes.
in.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Becky Watson. Thanks for coming on to the show. We really appreciate the value that you're adding to the world, Becky, with Music for Wellness. You can find her links on the website. We'll have them with the show description. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review the podcast. We love to hear your thoughts, comments. Tell us who you want to hear from next. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks for listening. Juslin, cue the music.